Guys, so today I'm bringing guys a brand new sports cards video. In today's video, I'm going to be breaking down what I believe to be the 5 best long-term sports card investments to make at the moment right now, given current prices, given where I see the tide going. So without further ado, we're going to hop right into the video. So if we hop over to market trends, we can see recently that there has been a big resurgence in iconic sports cards, iconic players, iconic moments, iconic cards. As you guys can see right here in the basketball trending top, rising, top, falling area of the alt app, you can see that LeBron is up there, up over 10% in the last month. You can see Jordan is up almost 10%. You can see Curry is up almost 5%. And we really see the tide changing right now in the sports card market. We are seeing record sales right now for a lot of LeBron and Jordan cards. For the last 3 years, they're hitting their highs over the last 3 years. We see a lot of cards that had been down so much since 2022, really start to resurge. And so as we know, there's a lot of different trends that go on in the sports card market. We've seen a lot of trends come up between the new Kaboom downtown trends, a lot of different, we saw the Hall of Fame boom in 2021 where we saw cards like the Michael Jordan 1986 Fleer PSA 10 hit all-time records, and the market has changed so much over the last 4 or 5 years. It's gone from pretty much pre-COVID, it was pretty much just a free-for-all. Prices were pretty low. Everything was kind of at a low point. And, since 2021, we saw a lot of stuff correcting. We saw the MJ Fleer PSA 10 go from, a close to $800,000 card come all the way back down to, as low as $150, and now is currently trending back up. So where I personally see my thesis, before we get into specific cards that I think are good investments, my thesis is that the market is really turning back into the vintage trend a little bit. I think we've seen modern cards stay really hot over this last year. We saw these last 2 off seasons for basketball and football hit some really record numbers. We saw guys like, Jordan Love see incredible increases in their prices. We've seen guys like CJ Stroud come out at astronomical prices. On the basketball side, Victor Wembanyama, his market stay insanely hot. So where I personally see this going over the next, 12 to 14 months, or 12 to 24 months, is that we're going a little bit back towards the iconic LeBron, MJ, Kobe, Curry. If you want to look at football, a couple names I have in mind are Breeze and Manning, and of course Brady, but a little bit more of the underground guy who I think has a lot of upside are the Breeze and Mannings, and the secondary stars for basketball as well, which we'll get into names and all that, because what I personally see happening right now is that a lot of these players had overcorrected way too much. If we look at even a LeBron James 2003 Topps Chrome Refractor and how much that card has corrected, along with all of LeBron's market, all of MJ's market, all of Kobe's market. If we look at, his BGS 9.5 Topps Chrome Refractor, one of his all-time most iconic cards, be a $10,000 card. When you look at, a CJ Stroud Kaboom, and that card in a PSA 10 is, a lot more than that. It's just a lot of cards right now, I feel, for the modern, because they've gone up so much, I do see a lot of people kind of going back, taking their profits and putting it back into iconic old-time cards. And that's why I believe we are seeing a resurgence in, Kobe's market, in MJ's market, in LeBron's market, in Bill Russell's market, in Wilt Chamberlain's market, especially when it comes to iconic cards, on-card autos, Topps Chrome Refractors, cards like that. We saw this card right here, this 9.5. This card went as low as $20,000. A Kobe Bryant 1996 Topps Chrome Refractor in a BGS 9.5 gem mint grade, was a $20,000 card at one point, and we are seeing currently that card come back to life. It's up 50% since then. It's probably going to continue, in my opinion, to see some good increases. And we just saw pretty much how the market has reacted, to all this modern card growth over the last year, and how a lot of that profit is now finally starting to tick back into the Kobe, the LeBron, MJs. We saw the exact same trend in 2020. 2020 was all about the modern players. Luka Doncic, Trae Young. Of course, for football, you can look at Herbert, Burrow. All these guys, their prices were so high. And right after that, what happened was there became a whole surge in the vintage market. As soon as all those young players' cards took off, we saw a lot of those profits go into the vintage card market. And I think that's what we're seeing happen right now in real time, with a lot of these players in the top rising list being the LeBrons, the MJs, the Currys, the Kobes. I think those guys are set to see some very steady increases over the next 12 to 24 months after all this, modern card growth that we've seen. A few names that I personally really like right now are Drew Brees and Peyton Manning, and Kobe and Steph Curry. Those are kind of like my big four right now. I think LeBron and MJ have had a lot of spotlight over the last couple months. Their cards have really seen some, solid gains recently, and I think a lot of that's going to start to trickle down into, the Drew Breeses, the Peyton Mannings, the kind of next tier. If you look at quarterbacks, Brady's going to be number one, and then you've got, that. Of course, Mahomes is, modern, so we still see his cards a little bit inflated in my personal opinion. But if you look at, for example, where Drew Brees, his SP Authentic 2001 auto is, compared to a lot of these young guys, you will see that it's still super undervalued in my opinion. This card's a $700 card. You can barely get a Sam Howell decent card for $700, or another young player who's very unproven. And so we're already starting to see that trend kind of tick back up again, as we can see in a lot of these players' markets, just given off how low they are and how much the modern card market has really appreciated recently. I think a lot of people don't truly realize how strong the modern card market has become, partly, of course, because of repackers, but also just the overall health of the market. I would say is in a very strong place. If you look at a Peyton Manning Bowman Chrome rookie card right now in a PSA 10, it is around a $300 card, and his cards are actually starting to surge right now. We were recommending his cards to our membership program a couple months ago, just because of how low they had gotten. And if we can see his cards, they're starting to finally see some appreciation. This card was a $150 card, last month. It's currently up to around $300, which is, very steady gains. And I think we're going to continue to see that trend in the next players. And if you want to kind of go for a mid-tier between modern and vintage, there are a lot of guys that kind of hit both the categories to where if they retire today, they still, their cards are going to still perform very solid for the long term, but they still have some more upside and are still playing at a very high level. One player that comes to mind when it comes to that category is Steph Curry. I think his cards overall, given how low population they are, I think there is significant upside in the long term in Steph Curry's card market. If you look at his Topps Chrome base, it's numbered to $9.99. His PSA 10, there are only 61 of them. Under 100 PSA 9s, and this card is currently, down quite a lot from all-time highs. If you look at this card, a couple of years ago, even a PSA 9 was around a $25,000 to $30,000 card, and it's currently around a $5,000 card. So if you just look at overall where the market is and where I see the most upside in the long term, it is with a lot of these cards. I think the trends are going to be up and down, but in the long term, I think his cards are going to trend up. I think along with Brees, Manning, Kobe, all these names I've listed, I think currently, based off where the modern market is headed, a lot of these cards are starting to look super grossly undervalued. Considering you can get, some very iconic cards. For example, Steph Curry Topps Chrome Refractor, Pop 40 PSA 9 for the same price as a CJ Stroud Kaboom PSA 10. And if you just think about how the market works, psychology of people, when you see prices that high for modern, it only makes sense that it eventually trickles back down into vintage and more iconic, safer players. People take their profits, put it into safer players for the long term. And I think that's what we're seeing happen right now. I think that's what we saw when we saw the massive boom in vintage card prices in 2021. So that is personally the trend that I'm spotting. Of course, not everyone has massive money to invest. So there's a lot of, underground cards that I've been going after. If you want more in depth, we do have a membership program. The link is down below to sportscardsinvest.com. That is where I go into every single card. The cards that I personally see the most upside with. But I really appreciate you guys watching this video. If you enjoyed, go ahead, drop a like and subscribe. We are on our way to 50,000 subscribers. We are so close, so make sure to subscribe. Other than that, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'm out. Peace.